presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Spend the night with luxury. Now the sun starting to pop through the clouds here in Seattle. Along with Bill Schroeder, I'm Craig KEON. 66 right now as we get set for first pitch from Safeco Field here in Seattle. And here's a look at the batting order for Craig Counsell here today for Milwaukee, trying to break a 6-game losing streak. Jonathan Villar will lead things off, then it's Keon Broxton in center, and Ryan Braun will be the designated hitter today. Perez will clean things up and play second, Carter over at first, Santana back and right, Pena behind the plate, Arcia over at short, and Jake Elmore will mine left field. And on the hill, they will face this lefty, young Ariel Miranda, and he's looking to improve to 2-0 with his new team, the Seattle Mariners. Yeah, overall with the Orioles, he made one start with the Orioles, one appearance I should say, and the Mariners, and he had a 1-0 record, a .579 earned run average. He spent 7 years in the Cuban National Series, so he does have some experience. 2 years in the minor leagues with the Orioles, 10-10, and a .380 earned run average. They say he's got a live fastball, still struggles with the off-speed stuff. Well, let's check out the Mariners as they line up defensively. Brought to you by Menards. You got Aoki, Martin, and Smith in the outfield. Kyle Seager's had a really good series defensively over at third base. Marte, Cano up the middle. Adam Lynn, the former Brewer, over at first base. And Chris IANNETTA behind home plate. And the umpires, Jim Joyce, the crew chief, is going to be calling balls and strikes. Chad Fairchild over at first, James Hoy at second, and Marvin Hudson at third base today. That's the umpiring crew. The roof is open here in Seattle for the third consecutive game. We've been very fortunate in this series weather-wise. Record heat on Friday and Saturday still felt pretty pleasant. It was 91 yesterday at first pitch, today 66. Maybe the weather will help the Brewers out here. It's been a warm road trip. Chicago here. Haven't won yet, trying to get things going. First pitch to Villar is in for a strike. At 300 for the season is Jonathan Villar. Another strike poured in by the young 27-year-old. Young to the majors anyway. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of fastballs from Miranda today. He struggles a little bit with the off-speed stuff. Not a young kid, 27 years old. He's had a lot of experience over in Cuba. Getting an opportunity in this starting rotation with the throwback uniforms here today. Yeah, they wear them on Sunday home games. Seattle Mariners, kind of that 1990s era. Interesting that you see the color scheme skew very much like the Brewers' old gold and blue. Well, don't forget this team in 1969, the Seattle Pilots played just one season here and then became the Brewers in 1970 in Milwaukee. Mariners got to this city in 1977 as an expansion team. And in pretty good shape. I mean, to make the postseason. They just missed the playoffs back in 2014, a couple of years ago, a game out of the wild card. And they're right back at it this year, a game out of the wild card right now. Yeah, they've moved right up the ladder as Villar takes another pitch inside. 10 games over 500. And playing some very good baseball since the All-Star break. They've won 12 of their last 15 games, and in the month of August, 14-5. This is where you want to hit your stride, and this Seattle team has done it. First batter for Miranda is a strikeout to Villar. And one of those off-speed pitches. He throws a changeup and a splitter. Kind of unusual, but he'll throw a slider as well with that live fastball at about 94 miles an hour. That's where he tops out at. Here's Keon Broxton having himself a good series. Home run on Friday. Talk a lot about some of these players that are really hitting their strides right now. We talked about Perez at the top. Villar, of course, has had a good season all the way around. Broxton is another one coming into his own. Keon Broxton batting .358 since being recalled from AAA back on July 25th. There's some pretty impressive numbers there. 10 stolen bases as well, having a good road trip.
And just what you want. I mean, that's what this season's all about, particularly the last couple of months, just to see some of these young players, how they develop. And BROXTON has been outstanding since he's been brought back from the minor leagues.
There's a few guys who are going to have some opportunities to be a part of this team in the near future, and this guy's one of them. Perez is definitely one of them. So is VR. Two pitch. Broxton a little roller, and it goes off his foot, so a foul ball. Broxton made his first opening day roster, but you remember he started out his big league career 0 for 24. And if I'm not mistaken, Rock, he was sent down, recalled, and sent down again twice before he even picked up his first big league hit.
Right. Well, he wasn't playing a whole lot, and one of those things that's tough on a young player.
Called third strike there on Broxton, so 2 quick strikeouts to start for Miranda.
Well, he got VR on an off-speed pitch and then catches Broxton looking on a fastball right on the edge. And not a whole lot you do with it, but rung it up. Jim Joyce rings it up.
First time for this Brewer roster to see Miranda on the mound. Here's Ryan Braun, the designated hitter. He's had some late game heroics for Milwaukee the last couple of games, coming through with some clutch 2-out RBI hits. But for the most part, he's been quiet on the road trip. High pop-up shallow left field. Aoki calling off Marte. And the Brewers a 1-2-3 inning against Ariel Miranda to start out. The Brewers go 1-2-3, and now the Mariners getting their chance. Scott Service in his first year as Mariners skipper, 66-56. They are 1 game out in the wild card chase for the Wisconsin native. We'll talk more about him a little bit later on. His batting order, it's Aoki, the former Brewer, really scorched his old team last night. Gets to start again at the top of the order. Then Seth Smith, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, Adam Lind, IANNETTA, the catcher, Martine out in center. 1 for 3 in yesterday's game, and Marte will bat 9th, the shortstop.
No, Matt Garza making start number 13. He's done pretty well against the Mariners in his career. This is start number 8. For Garza against Seattle, he's 3-1 and is 2-0 in this ballpark. Hasn't made a start or an appearance against Seattle since 2010. So it's been a while.
We had a pretty good year back in 2010 for the Rays. It is no hit game that season as well. And Matt Garza last pitched against the Cubs and went 5 innings, 3 earned runs, and continues his streak of these outings have been very positive for him. And Craig Counsell was talking before the game about the necessary adjustments he's made here at midseason. Spent the first 2 months on the disabled list, and veteran pitchers have to buy into making adjustments along the way to keep their careers going, and Counsell thinks he's done it.
Yeah, we saw that last night with Felix Hernandez, didn't we?
Yep.
I mean, he doesn't throw hard anymore, but certainly outstanding work.
Aoki with a single to open things up.
Continues his hot hitting at 3 hits yesterday. Check out the defense behind Garza, brought to you by Menards today. Got Elmore in left, Broxton in center, Santana back in the lineup. He started game 1 of this series out and right. VILLAR, Arcia, Perez, and Carter. And Manny Pini behind home plate.
And Perez, we talked about him off the top of the telecast over at second base for Milwaukee. Boy, he made some great defensive plays at first yesterday. He's been fun to watch. I mean, there's one thing when you see good hitters and when they can combine it defensively, especially at 5 or 6 different positions. Those are the enjoyable ones in this game to watch.
Yeah, and think about where he was. I mean, his status in this organization before spring training, taken off the roster. The story's been told over and over again, but it's very impressive. I mean, you go from that, you get called up, put back on the roster, get called up, and he has been one of the more productive players that Craig Counsell's been able to count on all year. Good for him.
And we'll see him lead off the Brewers' second inning. See if Garza can take care of the Mariners. A single to open things up from Aoki, so he's over at first. Seth Smith, the right fielder, bats second.
Yeah, we talk about adjustments, and Matt Garza, he doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but has really used the inner half of the plate very well with the fastball, and his curveball and slider have been much better, you know, in his last 4 starts. Last 4 have been pretty good.
Pop-up foul territory. VILLAR has to come over a long way from his shift and makes a nice catch just in front of his dugout.
Yeah, good amount of room in foul territory. You know, dugout to dugout here in this ballpark. And talking about that fastball in, we just got done talking about that, and he jams Smith and gets the out in foul ground. Good pitch by Garza.
Last 5 starts for Garza, you're right, Rocky, has not given up more than 3 earned runs.
Yeah, the team is 4-1 in that stretch. He snapped a personal 3-game winning streak with that loss to the Cubs in game 1 of the doubleheader on Tuesday.
And he faces Robinson Cano with 1 down. Aoki at first base. Here are those last 5 games for Garza. He has won 3 of those decisions in a 3.49 ERA. The opponent batting average is huge to be down to 220 right now. When he's in trouble, it's at 300 or above.
Yeah, most of those walks have come in his last 3 starts, 9 of them in his last 3 starts.
That'll also get you in trouble. We've seen that on this road trip. The Brewers have been, for the most part, in many of these games, kept it close. Things can get widened out like they did in yesterday's game late when they lost 8-2, but those walks, maybe the errors, those are the things that this team cannot afford to make, especially against playoff contending teams like the Cubs and Mariners on this trip.
It was a good game up until the 7th inning last night. I mean, the Mariners scored 6 runs in the 7th and 8th innings. Hey, remember those trades that the Brewers made, you know, sending, you know, Smith and Jeffress, making trades, and that has certainly had an impact on the end of the game for the Brewers.
Well, the bullpen is very much a puzzle right now that Craig Counsell is trying to piece back together. We saw Chase Anderson in 2 innings of relief in the opener of this series on Friday. Brent Suter was called up to make a start. Now he's in the bullpen. They're waiting for Junior Guerra to get healthy again. They're hoping that he's taken a major turn to get back in that rotation soon. He's going to throw some simulated innings on Monday, and then if things go well, you could see him back on that mound within a week or so. And CANO strikes out.
Hey, good off-speed pitch that time by Garza. Hey, check it out. CANO swings right over the top of it.
Two down for Garza. Aoki led off with a single. He's still over at first. Here's the DH, Nelson Cruz. 285, 31 home runs for Cruz on the season. Those 31 home runs tied for 3rd in the American League. In his career against Garza, 1 for 8. Good stop by Pena behind the plate.
There was a slider that got Robinson Cano, and he went right back to it. Very important for Garza to be sharp early in the game. You don't want to be playing from behind. Brewers have been playing from behind quite a bit.
Cruz late, 1-1. Cruz with 3 hits in this series. A lot of home run pop in the middle of that lineup with CANO at 28, Cruz at 31, SEAGER at 23, and Lind at 18. You got to face 4 guys with at least 18 home runs.
Yeah, they hit 2 of them in yesterday's ball game. Both of them coming at the bottom of the order. Those are the guys you have to be able to control, because the top of this order is so good.
It's been interesting to watch the bottom half of the order, especially in yesterday's game. Kind of set the table. Garza, a little comebacker, and an underhand throw to Carter is successful for the final out.
Top of the second, and Miller Park will be rocking hit songs such as Beer Money and Something About a Truck. when country music star Kip Moore performs this Saturday right after the Brewers-Pirates game. Plus, fans who purchase this special country night ticket package will also get a Brewers trucker hat.
Top of 2 we go. Perez swings at the first pitch. Lofts one into left center. And the center fielder out there, Leonis Martin, calls off Aoki at the last second. Sun is popping out through the clouds. That's happened over the course of the last half hour. Very cloudy start to this day.
Marine layer. Right? Right by the water? What are you looking at? It's the cloud cover in the morning, right?
I'm looking through my notes, flipping around from offense to defense, and you drop that on me.
Well, hey, we're down by the Puget Sound. You get that once in a while, and it burns off.
We spent too much time together this week on the road, I think.
Yeah. Huh?
You're starting to drop the one-liners in like I automatically know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, I was just commenting on your.
We've been a happy couple, but it needs to come to an end.
On your weather report, I was just analyzing your weather report.
That's good. That was good. Here's Chris Carter. Oh, you threw me off, Rock.
Yeah.
Now I'm all flustered.
It's all right.
Pick me up. Oh, Chris Carter. He had a booming home run in this series to straightaway center field. Be nice to see a couple of more from Chris Carter like that. Seems to be getting that home run swing back here in the last week or so.
Man, a lot of the damage that he's been able to do is center field around into right center. And this is the home run he hit off of LeBlanc on Friday, way back, about 3/4 of the way up with that batter's eye. Home run number 28. He doubled into right center in last night's game.
There's his splits against left-handed pitching pretty good as Miranda delivers. This one fouled back.
A home run less than every 10 at bats. Pretty good. Two of the top on that list, Nelson Cruz and Carter.
Carter third in the National League with 28 home runs. He had a double in yesterday's game. Nearly 56% of his hits are extra base hits. This time he draws the walk, so a one-out walk here in the second inning. That'll bring up Domingo Santana, getting his second start since coming off the disabled list. Started Friday night's game. And with all the guys that we've been talking about that are in position to make a strong bid for a roster spot, maybe a starting spot in 2017, here's one guy where the window's open, and will he take advantage of it for the rest of the year? He's missed a good chunk of the season, spending 2 stints on the disabled list. Was penciled in to be Milwaukee's everyday right fielder when the season began, but health has been a major issue for Santana.
And he just has to prove in the last 6 weeks that he's healthy. And the shoulder, elbow are going to be good. Yeah, pretty good game his first day back, hitting a walk. They need him. They need him in that lineup. He is a presence, big guy, home run power.
And the other thing that has developed as this roster and franchise, for the most part, changes through trades too. There's stiffer competition in the minor leagues right now for outfielders trying to make their way to the big leagues.
Yeah, Brewers minor league system stacked right now with all the trades starting last year, and had some good outfielders that the Brewers are thinking might be coming up. You got Phillips down in Double-A. You got Brinson, who they picked him up on a trade. He got off to a great start down in the minor leagues.
He's on the disabled list right now. To short, could be 2. The turn is in time. 6-4-3 double play retires Santana, and the Brewers here in the second inning. No score as we head to the bottom of the second here in Seattle. Craig Counsell turns 46 today. Managing in the big leagues, and he was joking around before the game about how many games he's played because of where his birth date falls on the baseball schedule. And he was asked if he'd have any big offensive games, and he said, I'm really not sure, but I do know I probably went 0 for 4 because I had a lot of 0 for 4s in my day.
Yeah, he and me together.
He was kidding around though, but Mike Vassallo, of course, the Brewers public relations director, came up with the number on Craig Counsell's birthday as a player. He was 6 for 19 with 2 RBIs.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. See if the Brewers can give him a gift here, a win on this road trip. It's been rough. Brewers, their longest losing streak of the season is 6 right now. They've lost 7 road games in a row dating back to the previous road trip. As Kyle Seager leads off the 2nd inning here, and the road has not been kind to the Brewers. Their road series alone, they've already lost this one here in Seattle. They've only won 2 road series with 14 losses and 4 ties. That's the worst in the majors. And their road record at 19-41 overall.
Yeah, remember, you know, back early in the season, they swept the Atlanta Braves on the road. They won 3 straight games. Brewers had a season high 18 games under 500 and still have a winning record at Miller Park, and that's how bad they've been on the road this year. Hard to figure.
The splits are something that it's hard to explain in this game, Rock. Counsell was trying to come up with a theory. Why is my team so good at home and so unsuccessful on the road? And he said sometimes in baseball, and there's a lot of categories you can look at, you can't explain splits. And he said this one is hard to explain this year.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's certain things you just can't put your finger on. You just have to try and, you know, grind through it, not think about it, maybe change it up once in a while. You know, the Brewers on the road at times, they've gone stretches where they haven't really hit a lot, taken a lot of batting practice on the road and trying to shake it up that way, and not a whole lot you can do. It's just one of those things.
Some players will perform much better at home, and the players definitely include Chris Carter. His offensive production off the charts at Miller Park compared to on the road. Kurt Neuenhuis went through that as well for the first chunk of the season. Some pitchers pitch better at home. Arcia with the first out as he throws out Seager. The 2016-17 Bucs schedule has been released, and with a half-season ticket package, you're guaranteed a ticket to all the top matchups, including opening night on October 26th and games against the world champion Cleveland Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors, and Chicago Bulls. Visit foxsportswisconsin.com and click on upcoming events for details. Last out was VR.
Right.
So it's officially 5-3
on the shift.
That shift will get you once in a while. There's another big shift on right now for Adam Lynn. We got Perez, the second baseman, in shallow right. It's interesting looking at these splits. It's something that Major League Baseball is taking a very, very close look at. 5 years ago, there were about 2,400 shifts used combined by all teams. And this year, 5 years later, they're expecting it to be as many as 28,000 defensive shifts.
Yeah, defined as, you know, 3 infielders on one side of second base, whether it be a left-hander or a right-handed hitter up. I wonder how they're going to police that.
That is a good question. I want to know the poor soul who had to count them all.
Right. Yeah, Brewers are at the top of the list of teams that shift a lot. At or near the top.
I think the one thing that has caught my attention this year especially Foul ball as VILLAR goes after it. Looks like he has room, and there's the second out as he retires Lynn. I think the one thing that's caught my attention, Rock, is the fact that there are shifts going on sometimes by each pitch, depending upon what the count is. They're still shifting around.
A lot of teams do that. I mean, they'll have a normal defensive alignment with third baseman, you know, playing relatively close to where he normally would, you know, in the event, you know, trying to take away a bunt. So you get, you know, 2 strikes, you'll have the shift in full force. Sometimes they'll move the shift around on a 2-1 count. You know, 0-2, it depends. I mean, it depends on, you know, the spray charts of the hitters based on the count. You know, those charts and the scouting reports, you know, detail where a hitter normally hits the baseball, not just as in general, but in every count, which is kind of incredible. So, hey, you wonder how baseball is going to, you know, police that, or why they would take that away. You can put your guys anywhere you want as long as they're in fair territory. Catcher's the only player that's allowed to position himself in foul territory to start the play. And it'd be very difficult for me to imagine baseball dictating where you can put players.
Somehow they're exploring it. We do know that. And it will be interesting to see if they come up with a legit proposal.
Well, for instance, this positioning right here for the Brewers would not be considered a shift, because Hernan Perez is on the first base side of the bag at second. That does not count as a shift.
Called strike outside corner of the plate for Garza, and a nice quick 1-2-3 inning for him. His second strikeout as he fans IANNETTA. Top of the third inning here in Seattle. It's time for trivia. Our Car Soup trivia question today: who set the ALCS 5-game record for hits in a series? American League Championship Series 5-game record for hits in a series. Manny Pena sets the Brewers off here in inning number 3. So far it's been 3 up, 3 down in the first 2 innings for the Brewers against Ariel Miranda, the 27-year-old lefty from Cuba, who made his major league debut this season. So far he's looked pretty good for the Mariners.
Yeah, he's got a real good live fastball, got some movement on it. He'll, you know, tail it on the arm side, a little bit of a cut on the glove side, and they say he's a bit inconsistent with the off-speed stuff.
Pena high fly ball into left. Aoki fights the sun and makes the catch, out number 1. That'll bring up Orlando Arcia, the Brewers shortstop. And boy, wouldn't it be nice to see this young guy get his bat going here today. It's been a tough go for Arcia. 2 hits in his last 28 plate appearances.
Although he has been pretty good defensively, the only way you can really settle down at this level, any level really, is if you're getting hits. You always have that that little bit of intensity, that little bit of that feeling in your stomach when you just haven't been able to get hits. I mean, there have been times when he hit the baseball pretty well, but right at somebody. There are other times that he's been waving at pitches and striking out, so that's kind of normal for a guy that's only 22 years old. But you like to get him some success here pretty quickly.
That's what his manager was talking about today as well. It's as simple as that. He's very pleased with what he's done so far. He just needs a couple of hits.
That's really the only way you can calm down and settle in is, you know, the important thing is defense for sure, but everybody wants to get hits, and when you don't, you know, it's just a little bit unsettling.
1 hit on this road trip, and you don't want it to affect you mentally. Make it simple. Well hit there, but right at Seager. Nice play. And you're going to get robbed along the way, and that was definitely one right there.
This guy's pretty impressive. I mean, we talked about him when we came on the air about some of the nice plays he's made. Look at this hop. A backhand pickup, a tricky hop, and a good throw over to first base. So, yeah, there's been times where he's hit the ball hard just like that, but nothing to show for it. And you could say all you want in that dugout that, hey, way to swing the bat, but if it's an offer, it's an offer, and it doesn't feel any different.
Here's Jake Elmore, the left fielder. Elmore started in left field on Friday night. Ryan Braun was the DH in that game as well. Hit hard into right field, and a nice running catch by Seth Smith. And another quick inning for Miranda as he sets the Brewers down in order.
For the final free shirt Friday this season. This upcoming Friday, all fans in attendance for the Brewers showdown with the Pirates will get a free MKE home t-shirt courtesy of Experience Fitness. I like that shirt.
I do too.
Good looking.
Those Friday night giveaway t-shirts have been a hot ticket. Brewers have done that now for the last couple of seasons. Matt Garcia back out on the hill to start the Bottom of the third, first pitch is a strike, and you can hear it from Jim Joyce, can't you? A little loud down there.
Yeah, he's good. Good umpire.
Belted out.
Yeah, Jim Joyce has been around a long, long time. Jim Joyce was in the minor leagues when I was in the minor leagues.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a long time ago, Rock.
Yes, it is. Thanks for reminding me.
It's what I do. We were talking about Jim Joyce the other day as Martine bats, about being one of the most recognizable umpires. Guy been around a long time. Can't really recognize him with the mask on today, but on the bases for sure.
Got that mustache. And
you've trimmed yours down over the years, though. He's kept his looking about the same, I would imagine.
I'm trying to avoid as much gray in that thing as I can, so I find when I trim it close, it kind of eliminates that a little bit.
There you go.
Jim doesn't care.
No.
It's distinguished.
He does a good job. Martine, one of the better interleague hitters in the game this year, 400 in interleague play, and shoots this one to left. Back goes Elmore and can't catch up to it. Fair ball in the corner, and a ground rule double. Don't know if there was some fan interference down there, if it went over the fence and came back.
Yeah, down in the corner down there can hop up and hit the back wall, which I guess ultimately means it's out of play. But here's that bottom of the order again for the Mariners. They did some damage and scored some runs in last night's game. A little inexperience out there in left field, and you see it hitting that back wall, the foul pole, and that is out of play. So a leadoff double for Martine.
That'll bring up KETEL Marte, so a runner in scoring position. First time today. Now Matt Garza will have to bear down. Marte having a solid season out at short for the Mariners. His team has won 8 games in a row in their home ballpark. Talked about how tough it is for the Brewers on the road. It's been very easy for the Mariners. Quick throw out to second. Very close play as Pena.
Yeah, you can see that coming. Last pitch, it looked like they were thinking about doing it. Arcia able to sneak in behind Martine, and the one thing that Pena has is a very strong, accurate throwing arm. Very quick release, but base runner able to get back.
And Martine a little bit shaken up there.
He bloody his lip. Maybe the tag. Went back head first.
I saw his helmet fly off. Let's take another look.
Went right into the leg, I think. It got the leg of Arcia. I think maybe cut his lip.
That or maybe his helmet got him. His helmet kind of fell off into his face.
Yeah, one of the two.
And they'll make sure that he's doing okay.
Let's see what it is. Yep, helmet into the leg, and something got him.
Well, the bottom of the order again in this series, we talked about it earlier, but the 8-9 hitters 5 for 14, and they produced a lot. Some power, they've gotten on base, scored some runs, stolen some bases. They have cluttered our scorecard here in the first 2 games.
Yes, they have. They've been an important part of the offense.
And another snap throw out to second.
This time feet first. They got me once. You're not going to get me again. And one thing it does, it keeps a little closer to second base. Might not be able to get a good jump and score a run on a base hit. But he does have a huge lead out there at second base. I think he's pretty confident the Garza's not going to throw. Not going to spin around and make a throw to second base. He's got a huge lead, which is why Pena is trying to hold him close.
Well, the Brewer infielders have stopped a lot of balls from going into the outfield with runners on in the first 2 games. Keep the runners closer to second base, keep them from scoring. Marte, the number 9 hitter. And this time in the hole and past Arcia. And he is rolling around in pain in the grass. Run scores for the Mariners. It is 1-0.
Well, you can credit, the base runner at second base for that. Arcia a little bit more up the middle than he normally would to try to keep Martin close. And what does Marte do? He just slaps one out of his reach because he's playing up the middle a little bit more than he normally would, trying to keep him close at second, and kind of came up hard on that dive to get the baseball.
May have rolled that wrist, his glove hand. Looks like he's okay, so it's 1-0. This one put into play by Aoki, and they're going to rule it foul. So a double and an RBI single, and now top of the order. How many times have we said that? Friday, Saturday, and now Sunday again.
Right. 7, 8, 9 have done some damage against Milwaukee, particularly in last night's game.
Aoki, the former Milwaukee Brewer, playing 2 seasons in Milwaukee. He had a baby born in Milwaukee while he was a Brewer as well.
Unusual to wear the double flapped helmet when he's not a switch hitter. You don't see the double flapped helmet too much these days.
That's a good point.
It used to be switch hitters would have the double flapped helmet, but nowadays they have 2 different helmets. Aoki just hits left-handed. I think he uses the double flap because of the protection he gets when he's on the bases.
Guys will wear things strictly for comfort level and other securities. I mean, Jonathan Villar started wearing the flap across his cheekbone, and he has not been hit in the head before, but he said guys are starting to pitch him inside. He wants to protect himself. Comebacker Garza loses the baseball trying to throw to first. Wow. The issues fielding his position just will not go away for Matt Garza.
Normally, you're going to get a comebacker like that go to second base, but Garza does not like to do that, and just having all kinds of problems throwing a baseball to the bases, and there's a good example of it. That'll be an E1.
So we talked about the splits are hard to explain. That's one that's been hard to explain too.
Right, it's all about the footwork.
It just plagued him for his career.
See the footwork for Garza is just not what you would like it to be. I mean, he has great footwork when he's making pitches, but for whatever reason he just feels like he wants to get rid of the baseball too quickly and doesn't step and throw.
First and second for Smith. Still nobody out here in the Mariner third. A run is already home. Smith fouled out to VILLAR at third his first time up. This one in the right is a base hit. Waving the runner around third, he will score. It's going to be first and third. 2 runs are in the inning for the Mariners, and still nobody out.
So the comeback or the error by Garza, instead of being able to turn a double play, you get nobody. First and second, nobody out, and a base hit scores a run. And defense has been a bit shaky for the Brewers in this series. And Seth Smith, who's hit the ball hard on a number of occasions with nothing to show for it in this series, able to drive in a run.
And the bad part about these blunders is the meat of the order coming up in CANO now. Nice catch. And the second deck out there. Someone's got their glove and put it to use.
I'll tell you what, he's reaching over the railing like that off to the side. He made a great catch. Right in the webbing. Well done.
Well, CANO swings at a lot of first pitches, so these fans know that they're ready. They put their gloves on that first pitch. Nice job. Garza had a strike. Another one fouled back.
And with CANO on the first pitch, most of the time it's the fans in the bleachers in the outfield that are ready for it. He's got 10 first pitch home runs this year.
Look at that first pitch success this season alone, 435. It's amazing. 27 runs driven in. A double shy of making it 12 straight seasons of 30 doubles. Guy not only hits home runs, but gets the extra base hits.
Yeah, one of the top offensive second basemen in the history of the game, if you look at his numbers.
There you go. Doubles all time among active players.
And no second baseman on that list except for him.
Last night, Albert Pujols tied Mark McGwire for 10th on the all-time home run list. Stopped by Carter. He's got to try to get there himself. Flips to Perez, who had the presence from second base to get over to first to cover.
That's a nice play by Perez. Good heads-up play. That's what you love about Hernan Perez. He's not a spectator over there. Garza not able to get there. Carter knew he wasn't going to win that race to first base, but look at Perez. The only thing he has to do is cover first, and does it. They get the out. Well, he's a heads-up player. And if he doesn't get there, that's going to be a base hit.
A run does come home. It's 3-0, but the Brewers finally record an out. Smith at second base for Nelson Cruz. Seattle is coming to hit at the plate. They're not wasting any pitches.
Garza getting a lot of the plate with his first pitch fastballs. Why not?
Cruz tapped out to Garza in the first. Last 13 games, Nelson Cruz is hitting .360. Primarily a DH for Seattle. for a short time, a one-time Milwaukee Brewer. Another pitch from Garza, 1-2.
Involved in a trade that sent Carlos Lee to the Brewers from Texas.
Carlos Lee hit a few home runs in a Brewer uniform.
Yeah, good hitter.
Slow roller. VR. No play. Everybody's safe. What can you do about that? Swinging bunt.
Well, you got to play deep. You got to play behind the bag to cover as much ground as you can with Cruz at the plate. You can see how far back VR is. The only thing you can hope is it goes foul, but it didn't. And it continues, and here comes Derek Johnson to, I think, maybe just to give Garza a little bit of a breather. It's been a long inning.
Our quick trip to the mound is pitching coach Derek Johnson out to talk with Garza and Pena. 3 runs in this inning. Only 1 out. Runners at first and third. And Kyle Seager is ready to bat. Greg Counsell talked before the game how Matt Garza has done a nice job over his last 5, 6, 7 starts of trying to make the necessary adjustments to be successful, buy into some methods for success out on the mound, and he has looked good this inning. He's trying not to let fall too much further apart. 3 runs already in. He's committed an error on his own. This one, little bloop in the infield right to BR. Much needed out there for Garza.
Man, that's that fastball in. Able to get in on his hands. He jammed Seth Smith his first time up. But Seager, the way he's been swinging a bat, I mean, that's a big out. Get the out without a run scoring.
Here's Adam Lind. Nice season a year ago in Milwaukee, his only season of baseball in Milwaukee before he was traded over here to Seattle during the offseason. '18 home runs on the year, 13 have come here. In fact, his .595 slugging percentage is the second best single season mark in Safeco Field history, behind Ken Griffey Jr., who had a .616 clip back in 1999. And he rolls one right to Carter for the final out. But Seattle does get 3 runs. They jump on Garza, take advantage of the error. It is presented by Hubie and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hubie and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Back here in Seattle. Remember 1969, this team was the Pilots. Gorman Thomas, a member of that team. And there's the bobblehead throwback wearing a Pilots uniform. Gorman Thomas all over town here on this trip.
Yeah.
How does that work?
He's looking good too in that bobblehead. Public Market rocking this weekend.
Oh, that sure was.
A lot going on. Pike's Public Market, right?
Good place to go, my friend.
I'm told by our producer, who is Mr. Seattle.
Dan Keener?
Yeah. Pike Place Market. He
Pike
wanted
Place.
to correct me.
Not apostrophe S?
I think you knew what I was talking about, didn't you? Where they throw the fish at people?
I did. I did, and we saw a good picture of it. But it said right on the picture what it said, Pike.
I didn't see any flying fish this weekend. Did you?
Just the fish that flew onto your plate, that's all.
Yeah.
VILLAR hits a long drive to left. Aoki battles the sun at the warning track and hauls it in. Here's this bright sun that Aoki has to look into.
Kind of a high sky. You got some high clouds up above, but Aoki able to make the catch. He's got the sunglasses on. Yeah, in a 6 o'clock start last night, it was right field that was the problem field in the sun.
No problem with the 7 p.m. starts. The 6 o'clock starts, the sun and right. The day games here, you got the sun directly across from the left fielder. The roof here at Safeco does not present the same shadows at all that it does at Miller Park. The roof is all the way over past the right field seats.
Been very fortunate. We haven't even seen that roof move this weekend.
It's been great. Keep it that way. There's that beautiful sky here today. Boy, the weather's been great. Unusually warm today, very much like a Seattle summer day. First pitch, it was 66. Broxton to left. Aoki going back to the warning track, to the wall, and he leaps and can't make the catch. A home run for Broxton. It just snuck over the wall. Aoki ran out of room, and the Brewers get on the board, and this kid stays hot.
Yeah, kind of a crazy route by Aoki. It kind of fooled him a little bit. He didn't think it was going to be hit that hard. Maybe didn't see it off the bat. And really never got to the fence and jumped straight up. And that's a home run for Broxton on that fastball. Fastball down the middle. And Broxton gives it a pretty good ride. Not a very good route by Nori Aoki. Check it out, a late break on it. If he gets to the wall and jumps up, he might be able to make the catch, but not able to do it. And Brewers on the board, their first hit. A home run.
There's Keon Broxton, home run number 5 on the season for him and his 14th RBI.
Second time through. Let's see if the Brewers have a better idea what the pitchers are going to do for Miranda. First time through is able to face the minimum.
BRAUN to left, stay fair. And it is foul, but not by much.
And starting to get a better read on that fastball.
Boy, BRAUN really gave it a ride. The Brewers have hit into some long, loud outs in this series as well. This one right down the line, fair ball. SEAGER throws, double hop, and they still get BRAUN.
They did that by design. Normally you're going to see a guy one hop it. He had a little bit more time than he actually took. Ball got down there quickly, but He skips this ball on purpose. Gets rid of it quickly. And a good play by Lynn to be able to get the play. Get the out.
2 down for Perez. A run is home on the BROXTON home run. 3-1 game here in the top of the 4th. Jim Joyce calls timeout. Miranda's got a pretty good pace on the mound.
And that's why Perez wanted to slow him down a little bit, working too quickly.
And again, rake to third. Seager's had a busy day. He's been successful over there defensively. Brewers do get a run in. KEON Broxton, his 5th home run of the season to left field. It's a 3-1 game here in Seattle. Empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Registration is now open. Learn more about how you can get involved this fall and visit foxsportsupports.com. Matt Garza back out on the hill, gave up 3 runs in the last frame to Seattle. Bottom of 4 we go. The Brewers get a run back for him. It's a 3-1 ball game. Leading things off is Chris IANNETTA, the catcher. IANNETTA got caught looking his first at bat back in the 2nd inning. Let's see if Matt Garza has been able to clear his head from a 3-run inning in which he committed an error in that inning.
He's got the bottom 3 in the batting order. This is the inning where he needs to, keep the Mariners off the board. A nice quick inning would do him well. I could use a long start today. Does good Craig Counsell. Willie Peralta pitched into the 7th inning last night.
Willie had himself quite a game until that 7th inning last night when he gave up back-to-back home runs to start things off against Zunino and Martin. 7 and 8 hitters. So 6+ innings for Willie. But 4 earned runs. IANNETTA able to check his swing. Ball and 2 strikes.
His pitches haven't missed by much. Right around the strike zone for Garza, not getting the call.
2-2 as you see IANNETTA choking up on his bat. This is down low, now full. Another one foul. Well, Matt Garza starts over the course of the last month. He's done a pretty good job in his pitch count. Today, he's at 64. Had that long third inning. First batter here in the fourth. IANNETTA following a lot of pitches off.
I see more and more guys choking up with 2 strikes these days. IANNETTA, don't remember him ever doing that, but he is pretty well up off the knob of that bat. Giving you a little bit more bat control with 2 strikes.
Right up the middle, and he wins that battle.
And it works. Nothing wrong with choking up. Trying to shorten up with 2 strikes. There it is, a fastball middle and down, and IANNETTA hits a rope right back through the middle.
So a runner at first in IANNETTA. Here's Martine. He got that third inning going with a leadoff double. Scored the game's first run. There's his second hit right into right. So it'll be first and second to start out the fourth against Garza. There goes that bottom of the order again.
Yeah, it's hard to beat the Mariners when the bottom of the order has been able to allow them to get on base, driving in runs, because the top 6 in this batting order is so good. Just making your job that much more difficult. So the bottom 3 in the order: IANNETTA, Martine, Marte. They've got 4 hits.
And Aoki, as a leadoff hitter the last 2 games, has done an incredible amount of damage to Brewer pitching. He's been on base 6 times in the last 1+ games here. He awaits on deck. Nobody out to start the fourth, first and second. Here's Marte. Looks to punt. And this one is going to be called foul.
He came up and hit him, I think.
Yep, I think you're right. In the batter's box.
As long as you're in the batter's box, it doesn't matter. It hit his foot. Leg.
Again, he squares to bunt, puts one down and fouls it again. So he's down 2 strikes, trying to advance the runners. Garza, his 4th career start here at Safeco Field. 2-0 record with a 4.35 ERA. First time, though, that he is facing Seattle. Have to go all the way back to the 2010 season the last time he did.
Yeah, much different Mariners team and a much different pitcher Garza was back in those days. Throwing a lot harder. Just got to make the adjustments. This Mariners club is swinging the bats with a lot of confidence. Garza working hard to try and get through this order. Using a lot of pitches.
Mariners 12-3 in their last 15 games. Only a game out in the wild card chase, and it wasn't long ago this team was just one game over 500. It made some trades. There's Scott Service, their manager. There's a look at the standings at the beginning of today. Kansas City's getting back in the playoff chase. A lot of people were counting out the defending champs.
Yeah, difficult season for him. You know how difficult it is to get to the World Series 3 years in a row? I mean, playoffs 3 years in a row is a pretty good badge of honor, let alone getting to the World Series. They've been there 2 years straight. That just doesn't happen.
Ned Yost has kept them together, though. A lot of injuries this year that they have not experienced. Kansas City has won 7 in a row coming into today's action. In their game against Minnesota final today, they win 2-1, so they've won 8 in a row now. 4 games over 500. Ned Yost and Dale Swain. The AL Central numbers. Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland beat Toronto today in Cleveland.
Big 7-game lead over Detroit. So a lot of teams with their eye on the wild card, and that's what makes it exciting at this time here. We're about 6 weeks from the end of the season. A lot of teams in it that normally wouldn't be when you see big division leads.
Especially with 2 wild cards.
Yep. Big swing and a miss for Marte, and he is down.
Yeah, finally gets him on the 7th pitch of that bat. He earned that one. Off speed pitch, down and away, and Marte comes up empty on it. Now get your double play ball.
Norichika Aoki steps in the batter's box. He was right in the middle of the fray back in the 3rd when he caused Garza that error. Little comebacker to Garza, and he let the ball slip out of his hand just as he was about to throw it. That error opened up the floodgates to that inning.
Instead of maybe turning a double play, ended up 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Makes a big difference with the top of the order coming up. Or I should say the meat of the order, the run producers coming up.
Aoki able to check his swing. 3-0 now. 2 runners already on base, 1 down here in the 4th inning. It has been a grind for Garza the last 2 innings. Did very well the first 2 innings. And he gets Aoki looking, but it's only 3-1, so he's back in the box.
Yeah, Aoki thought that was low, but caught the very bottom of the strike zone. There you see number 4. Garza hasn't been missing by a whole lot for the most part. Just enough.
That one missed high and outside, so the base is now loaded with 1 down. And Aoki just continues to reach base.
Yeah. No activity in that Brewers bullpen as of yet. You see some stirring around down in that pen. You figure that Garza, a base hit here, and there's Marinez starting to throw.
Pitch count at 80 for Matt Garza as Smith steps in. Base hit in an RBI the last time he was up back in the 3rd inning. Takes a ball inside. Strike zone hard to find right now for Garza. There's one on the outside corner, 1-1.
They might have got a call right there, right on the edge of the strike zone. Those haven't been called too much today.
Smith, the big swing and a miss, 1-2. Over the course of the last month, Smith only hitting 174, but of his 11 home runs, 8 have come in this ballpark.
And Garza's got a couple of pitches to play with. The last 2 pitches, sliders that he's been able to get ahead in the count.
This is outside with the fastball, 2-2. In the right, base hit, 1 run is in. They'll hold the runner at 3rd, and the bases remain loaded with 1 out. Smith an RBI single. It is now 4-1 Mariners.
Yeah, second RBI single for Smith in as many innings. So another very long inning for Matt Garza. Still 1 out, bases still loaded. That was the slider. That one down the middle, and Smith able to find the hole in the right field.
Here's CANO with the bases loaded, and of course he's swinging at the first pitch, fouls one away. Ten grand slams in his career, including 1 this season. Oh for 2 in this game with an RBI. 0-2 now to CANO.
Seems like Garza has a lot more confidence in his slider right now than the fastball. Good pitch down in the zone. Good block by Pena. Really not able to put the fastball where he wants it, but the slider has been a little bit different. Much better command of that pitch this inning.
Missing low to CANO. CANO missed the game against the Angels on August 7th. That snapped a string of 167 consecutive starts. It was the longest active streak in the majors. This guy's in every day if he can be.
Which is why he's always been able to put up good numbers.
High chopper in the infield, going to be a difficult play. Perez makes one to Carter to retire CANO. And another run comes home. He's got 2 RBIs on infield groundouts, and that helps Seattle now to a 5-1 lead, 2 down.
Yeah, ground ball to first. He drove in a run last inning, and now a high chopper. And Perez able to get the out at first base, but a run does score.
79 RBIs on the season now for CANO. 5-1 ball game here in the bottom of the fourth, 2 down. Got runners at second and third for Nelson Cruz. He reached on an infield hit in the third.
Yeah, that was that slow roller down the third baseline that VILLAR didn't have a play on. Good pitch. Garza able to get in on his hands.
Seattle 5 runs on 8 hits already in this game. The Brewers only run coming on KEON Broxton's home run. It was also their only hit. Ariel Miranda spent a lot of time in the dugout over the last 2 innings. These have been long innings out on the field for Matt Garza.
And both innings have been jump started by the bottom of the order.
Ball and 2 strikes to Nelson Cruz. Ground ball stopped by Perez. Throw to first is going to be late. Another run comes home. And another infield hit for Cruz, this time an RBI.
Now shading him up the middle, and Nelson Cruz takes it to the opposite field. Good job by Perez to keep it in the infield, but not able to get enough on the throw to get the out. Good effort. Coming up a little short.
And Craig Counsell makes his way out, and that will end Matt Garza's day here with 2 down in the 4th inning, trailing 6-1. Tough day on the mound for Garza in a lot of ways here today. Community Foundation in its season-long effort to make a difference in our community by purchasing 50/50 raffle tickets at every home game. Proceeds support non-profit organizations in the areas of health, education, recreation, and basic needs. And one lucky fan takes home half of the game day ticket sales. Get back right at it tomorrow when the Brewers return for a Big Ten game homestand. There's Matt Garza, just 3 2/3 innings in this one today. Gave up 9 hits. 5 earned runs so far. Still a couple out there belong to Garza. And Marinez is trying to shut the door here and get the final out of a long 4th inning.
Yeah, the bullpen has been used early and often on this road trip. 93 pitches for Garza in 3 2/3 innings. And the bottom of the order doing a lot of the damage, getting a lot. Both of the rallies started. The bottom of the order has 4 hits and 4 runs scored. 7, 8, and 9 in the batting order.
What a bonus for the Mariners as they are offensively getting hot at the right time here. You get that type of balance in that lineup as SEAGER takes 2 consecutive strikes from Martinez. SEAGER hitless in 2 at-bats so far in this one. Right back at Martinez. It hits him and rolls right to Carter for the out. And he appears to be just fine. Brewers catch a break there, that's for sure. 6-1 Seattle. Already 6 runs and 9 hits on the board. The Brewers just 1 run and 1 hit. It's a home run by KEON BROXTON. And now they have to get to work. Still plenty of time for the Brewers to muster some offense against Miranda. 27-year-old rookie to the majors. Top of 5, and Chris Carter leads off for the Brewers. .222 on the season with 28 home runs for Carter. 28th coming here in Seattle on Friday. And our Powerball home run leaderboard, Carter at the top with 28, Braun with 22, and Neuenhuis with 11. Perez also 11 home runs for Milwaukee. Carter fouls one away. So Matt Garza's final line, 3 2/3 innings. 9 hits, 5 earned runs, a walk and 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, rough outing, and the Brewers needed a good start out of Garza today, trying to win their first game on his road trip. Not happening for him today.
Not too many times a team is going to have a winless road trip, and the hole is pretty deep here today to try to get that final shot as Carter grounds out.
And it kind of started going south in that 3rd inning when Garza not able to make that play on the comeback. He's kind of spiraled out of control after that. A run already in. He could have had a double play. It was a ball off the bat of Aoki. And then all the trouble began for Matt Garza.
Garza needed 63 pitches in the last inning in 2/3.
And 93 overall.
That's a lot of pitches. That number courtesy of our good friend Jerry Augustine, keeping track back in the studio.
That's good work, Augie.
Let me ask you this: is that a green pen marker or a red pen marker for Augie?
Augie? Probably both.
Probably right.
Yeah, well coordinated, color coordinated notes.
Oh, 0-2 to Santana. Called strike 3. Santana, a rough couple of first at bats here in this one. He grounded into a double play and gets caught looking here in the 5th. That'll bring up Manny Pena.
Question is, how come I didn't get that same note from Augie?
He knows where to send the numbers. He knows you're not a numbers guy.
See?
I mean, that's not your first choice. You don't look happy about that. Augie, time to get a new number for Rock and just send it to him.
How tough is it to just send a group text?
Well, we did get a group text today. Did you see that? It comes from Jeff Grayson from the studio. He's talking about Craig Counsell's playing on his birthday. Today's his birthday. And he looked up his best game back in 2005. He had a 3-hit game and a run scored as a member of the Diamondbacks playing against Cincinnati. Did you get that text?
I did.
All right. So we're 1 for 2 on group texts.
Still disappointed in Augie. I thought he was my guy.
I believe your phone's going to blow up here instantly. You don't have to turn it over. Turn it so you can see it.
I'm removing him from my contact list.
Manny Pena in a 2-2 count against Miranda. Strikes out, so another 1-2-3 inning on the changeup. And the Brewers are done here in the 5th, trailing by 5. Nice run of AL West championships back in '95, '97, in 2001, which brings us to our Car Soup Trivia question. Who set the ALDS 5-game record for hits in a series? Edgar Martinez is the answer. He is 12 for 21 back in '95. He's the hitting coach for Seattle, and boy, are they fortunate to have this guy. There's a look at the running to the postseason back in '95 and those numbers he put up there. 18-year career in the majors, all with Seattle, 7-time All-Star, 2 batting championships, and the designated hitter award in Major League Baseball is the Edgar Martinez award.
Yeah, he's something else. I mean, in his day, probably one of the best right-handed hitters in the game, without a doubt. And still wearing a Mariners uniform. Good for him.
There's Adam Lind to lead off the 5th for Seattle. They've scored 3 runs in each of the last 2 innings. Those came off Matt Garza. Juan Marinez came in relief. Retired the final batter in the 4th inning. And is back out here in the 5th. Hard hit ball. Arcia on the shift. Over on the second base side for the out.
Now, when you think about the history of baseball, the DH goes back to what, 1970 was it? 1972. I forget what it was, but anyway, I mean, you think about the best designated hitters of all time. I think he's on the list. Big Papi might be the best, designated hitter, but Edgar Martinez takes a back seat to really nobody.
Paul Molitor played a lot of games at DH, but he played a lot of games in the field as well.
Right.
It was more of a 50-50 split there, I would think. 1973 officially, Rock, on the DH.
I put Paulie in that list, you're right, but I mean, for guys that have spent the majority, if not just about all of their career as a designated hitter, Molitor doesn't fit into that category.
Yeah, not for an entire career. I mean, you look at Martinez, 312 is his entire career as a DH.
Right.
I mean, 18 years, a long time. Molly 306 in his DH days, but I think if you're talking about a guy who played that position for Hall of Fame career type numbers, and
there's one DH in the Hall of Fame, that's Frank Thomas. I guess you got to put him in that category, right?
Yep.
But he played a lot of first base.
Here's Martin with 2 down. Well, you talk about the rule changes and adjustments to baseball. Should you have a DH, let the pitchers bat? Do you bring a DH into the mix in the National League as well? That's another topic that'll never go away.
Well, better chance that there's going to be the DH in both leagues than do away with the designated hitter in the American League. I don't see that happening.
I don't either. Barehanded play by Carter. Nice job by the Brewer first baseman. A nice 1-2-3 inning for Marinez. Baseball news and notes around the league. Mookie Betts having himself another fine season for Boston. The young star turning heads maybe for an AL MVP race as well. Last 7 games, 433, showing some power. The Royals have won 8 in a row and 13 of their last 15, only 4 back in the wild card race. They win again this afternoon over the Twins. 2-1 was the final there. We were talking about that earlier. So a lot of things happening in baseball right now. This Mariners team only a game behind in the wild card chase as well. And Jim Joyce, looks like he's talking to Arcia, making sure he's all set in the box. Miranda working awfully quick here today.
By the way, the first year of the designated hitter was 1973. It was Ron Blumberg had an at-bat against Louis Tiant, the first designated hitter, and he drew a walk.
There you go. How about that?
So 1973, and special thanks to my crack research team. That would be Mr. iPhone.
We're getting a lot of good information today in a lot of different directions in different areas of the country.
No, I had to look that up myself.
Oh, you looked it up yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Pretty good research, Rock. You got an iPad here. How you feeling, Rock?
Good.
Good. Just want to make sure. Here's Jake Elmore. So Augie hasn't texted you any information. I thought maybe that came from him.
Yeah, he said he was sorry.
Well, you threatened to cut him off.
Well, I did.
So
his name didn't come up. It was just a number.
That could have been anybody telling you they were sorry.
Just kidding. I could never take Augie off my contact
Never.
list.
Never.
Go back, way back.
Looking forward to seeing Augie back on the homestand again in Miller Park. Jake Elmore up the middle, base hit.
Hit the bag. There you go. A little break.
Brewers' second hit of the game. And one of those days. Let's see if they can turn things around here in the 6th inning. 1 down. Top of the order, and VILLAR coming in. There's one more look.
Well, high fastball hit second base over the head of CANO and into center field. A little break for Jake Elmore.
Here's VILLAR. Elmore with Tampa Bay last year. 409 against Seattle. So it's good to see him be in a comfort zone against a familiar team. Even though he hasn't faced Miranda, he knows the Seattle Mariner team about as well as anybody on this Brewer roster. Considering we're playing interleague play, VILLAR a big swing and a miss. 0 for 2 so far in this one. This one right down the line, fair ball. Elmore is going to make his way to third. VILLAR in for a double. And the Brewers finally have something going against Ariel Miranda.
Getting a couple of breaks. I mean, Elmore hit the bag, ended up in the center field, and now VILLAR just able to sneak that one inside the third baseline. Almost right over the bag down the line, and the Brewers in good shape with the 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up.
Mel Stottlemyre trots out to have a word with Miranda, Seattle pitching coach. Keon Broxton hit a solo home run. It was the Brewers' only run and only hit until this inning when Elmore got the 1-out single. Take a look at that KEON BROXTON home run, number 5 on the season for him.
Yeah, got under it just a little bit out in front, but still strong enough to sneak it over that fence and left. Got the Brewers on the board. Another one of those that look pretty good right now.
Cishek getting warmed up in that Mariner bullpen. He closed out last night's 8-2 Mariner win. 7-6 and 8-2 wins for the Mariners in the first 2 games of the series. Brewers have been giving up more runs than we have seen during a week-long stretch here on the road. Wendy's at the plate for BROXTON. Officially 1 for 2 with that solo home run. Big opportunity for BROXTON to come through with another RBI added to the book. But he's down 2 strikes.
You see that last pitch right on the edge.
Cold strike 3 on the inside corner, and BROXTON is gone in 3 pitches.
Yeah, caught the outside corner with the second pitch and then caught the inside corner. Wasn't supposed to be there. You can see where IANNETTA was setting up. He was setting up more outer half, but able to catch the inside edge. Big out with a man at third, only 1 out.
Here's Ryan Braun. Very good against left-handed pitching this year. 375 coming into this series. And down the left field line, fair ball is going to score 2. Braun will have a double as that ball is lost into the stands. And Milwaukee right back in it, trimming a 6-run deficit down to 3 now.
Yeah, inning started with a base hit by Elmore that hit the bag. It looked like CANO was going to be able to make a play. Yeah, hopped over his head, and then VILLAR doubles, and now Ryan Braun on a pretty good pitch from Miranda goes down and gets a pitch down and in, and that's going to signal the end of the day for the Seattle left-hander. So the Brewers right back in it, down 6-3.
Here comes Scott Service, and this will be it for Miranda. Well, he has not been with the club for more than 3 weeks after coming over from Baltimore, and they've liked what they've seen so far out of the young left-hander. He exits with a 6-3 lead. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Back in Seattle, mostly cloudy day here as it's progressing in the afternoon. Seattle has 6-3 lead over Milwaukee. Pitching change here in the 6th inning as Steve Cishek now comes in relief. The Brewers are within 6-3.
Yeah, had a hip injury. He was on the disabled list for a while. He was the closer before he got hurt. 25 saves, 31 opportunities for Cishek. As you mentioned, he closed out last night's game. Had a 3-up, 3-down ninth.
So BRAUN, the big clutch 2-out RBI. And now it's Hernan Perez. He's got BRAUN out there in scoring position. These two last nights late in the game coming through with big RBI hits with 2 down. Sidearmer gets one in. 0-2.
Yeah, everything moves. The two-seamer going in on a right-hander. Then he's got that roundhouse slider. You really have to, if you're right-handed, keep that front shoulder closed. Try and drive it back through the middle.
Perez strikes out on 3 pitches. Cishek does his job. The Brewers, though, right back in it, a 6-3 game.
And you can get live broadcasts, scoring updates, breaking news, and more right at your fingertips with MLB.com At Bat, the official app of the Brewers. Download At Bat today, free for your smartphone or tablet.
Arena is back on. Bunt by Marte, right back to the Brewer pitcher. And 1 down, 1 pitch. That'll bring us to the top of the order now, and Nori Aoki with 1 down. Aoki has been on base all 3 times so far in this one. A single, reached on an error, was walked. He has scored a couple of runs.
Yeah, that error in the 3rd inning, that error on Garza really opened up a big inning for Seattle. Comebacker, could have been a double play. Ended up didn't get anybody.
You can say no error comes at a good time, but that was a bad time.
Yeah, especially with the meat of the order coming up.
Yep, runner's already on base. There's a strike to Aoki, 1-1. They cannot get this guy out. Scorching his former team. 4th time on base here today.
They got a slider. It stayed up in the zone down the middle of the plate, and Aoki hits it hard out in the right field. 2 hits, a walk. He reached on an error. He scored a run, scored 2 runs actually.
So Aoki over at first base. That'll bring up Seth Smith. Mariners lead this one 6-3. They're looking for a sweep of the Brewers. Smith, his last 2 trips up, RBI singles. Things are rolling right along for this Mariner club. Scott Service, their first-year manager, a Wisconsin native out of Coon Valley, that's just southeast of La Crosse. Longtime major league catcher. Perez, the relay in time for the double play. And the Brewers needed that. They hang within 6-3 as we move to the 7th inning.
Top of the 7th inning. And hey fans, there's another all-kid giveaway coming up a week from today as the Brewers play host to the Pittsburgh Pirates, and all kids 14 and under get a Brewers chest protector backpack courtesy of Quick Trip. Reserve your spot today at brewers.com.
New pitcher in for Seattle, Nick Vincent, to start out the Brewer half of inning number 7. Appearance number 42 for Vincent.
Yeah, 410 earned run average, more strikeouts than innings pitched for Vincent. He has given up 9 home runs out of the bullpen. He's got a 2-3 record. Well, the Brewers have cut the lead in half. They down by 3 as we head to the back third of the ball game.
So it'll be Chris Carter, Domingo Santana, and Manny Pena here in the 7th inning. Cishek did his job by getting that final out in the 6th inning.
Yeah, Vincent got hit hard his last time out. That was on the 18th against the Angels. 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs.
Here's the 1-1 to Carter, missing outside, 2-1. Carter officially 0 for 1, walked back in the second inning. Outside again, 3-1. High pop up left field. Will it have enough carry? No. Aoki gets underneath it.
He just missed that one. Not by much. And Carter just gets underneath this pitch just a little bit, and just maybe a little bit out on the end, and stays in the ballpark for him. You can see the reaction. He knows he just missed it.
Well, it sounded pretty good coming off his bat, but you're right, he just missed it. He does not have to swing hard for that ball to go about 450 feet. See what Domingo Santana can do. Ground ball to shorts. 2 down. See what's going on down on the farms for Milwaukee's minor league system. Last night, the Biloxi Shuckers at AA got a nice performance from Jorge Lopez on the mound. He really needed that. 7 strong innings, just 1 earned run. Dustin DeMuth 2 for 4. RBI having a nice season at .313, and Clint Coulter 13 on base streak going right now. 429 during that clip for former first-round pick of the Brewers. Trying to work his way up through the system. It's been a battle for Coulter.
Yeah, well, he started out as a catcher, now an outfielder. And good to see Jorge Lopez starting to
absolutely
get things together.
Well, Lopez, after last season and the jump he made through Biloxi, and then the Brewers brought him up in September, and he was able to get some big league action in. Has not had the production that the Brewers are hoping in the minor league system as Pena looks at strike 3. But hopefully Lopez is on his way back. The Brewers go quietly here in the 7th inning and still trail by 3. And it's time now for God Bless America here in Seattle.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you now to please join us in honoring our great country with the singing of God Bless America. Please welcome back from the Marysville Fire Department, Keith Taylor.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Seattle, but we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and today's time of the game winner, the Timbers Bar and Grill in St. Germain. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin. And Miller Lite, you've been to St. Germain?
I don't think so, my friend.
Up by Eagle River? Sure you have.
Have I?
You've been to Eagle River, right?
Oh,
I guarantee you've been at or around St. Germain.
All right. I'll believe you.
You looking it up?
I'm looking it up to see exactly where it is. The software out here in Seattle is a little slow. I don't know why.
Yeah, the internet a little hit and miss up here in the press box this weekend.
I've hit the St. Germain Golf Club. That's the first thing that popped up. The bottom of the 7th for Seattle. Robinson Cano 0 for 3 in this game. Yeah, I'm giving up on that. I'm just going to take your word for it. I've probably been through there 100 times.
You know what you do? We do the game like they did in the old days without the computer.
Yeah. Goes much faster.
Yeah. A lot less pressure.
Ball and 2 strikes. Carlos Torres out on the hill now for the Brewers here in the 7th inning. Relief corps has a little bit of pressure on him to try to keep this Brewer team within striking distance. It's been several times in this road trip they have done a great job, and then an extra run or two turns out to be the difference late, and you don't want that to happen as add-on runs here by the Mariners, who already have the lead.
Yeah, good job by Marinez, though. 2 1/3 innings. He did a terrific job. No runs. Only gave up the 1 hit.
Called strike 3 on Cano. Good start for Torres out on the hill here in the 7th. 2 strikeouts for Cano in this game.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5 in the batting order for the Seattle Mariners. The Brewer pitching staff has been able to control fairly well. You hate to say that until the game's over, but they have. It's been the bottom of the order and Norioka that's been doing the majority of the damage. I guess you can throw Smith in there too, the number 2 hitter.
Well, on Friday, Cano and Seager hit home runs. But those 3 big sluggers, that's the only round trippers they've hit in this series. But you know what? They're a constant threat. Nelson Cruz, the DH, steps in. He's got 2 singles. Neither one hit hard. The last one to the right side for an RBI. Big hack by Cruz.
Yeah, good pitch on the outside corner. That cutter's been a good pitch for Torres. And has Cruz out in front, tried to pull it.
And he gets Cruz as well. This time swinging. Consecutive strikeouts for Torres.
Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz have not hit the ball out of the infield in this game. That's how good the Brewer pitching staff has been able to pitch those 2 guys. And gets them to chase one.
Two down for Kyle Seager. 0 for 3 so far this afternoon. Torres pouring in strikes. Gets ahead in the count. Way inside. 2-1. Now the Brewers headed home after this game to start a 10-game homestand. First up is Colorado tomorrow. And if you're coming to the ball game an earlier start, the Monday 6:20 starts. There's another strike called, 2-2. So we're on the air at 5:30 for Brewers Live.
Who are you with tomorrow?
I believe it's Augie.
Augie?
Augie should be back in the chair. BA will be back in this chair. I think Telly's got the sideline. We're kind of half crew here on this trip. Rock, once again, you'll be in your chair, though. You don't miss a beat, do you?
Nobody sits in my chair.
No. Hot smash. Perez stops it, makes a throw, and gets him. What a play out there by Hernan Perez, getting Kyle Seager. Boy, it didn't look like he had a chance there. Got his glove in, bobbled the ball, and bounces one into Carter. Perez, and the Brewers trail by 3. But boy, this guy continues to play tremendous defense. This just ending the Seattle 7th inning.
And just good presence of where he is on the field, and realizing that if he tried to get that one in on the air, he might not be able to get enough on it. So he bounced it over there. We saw Seager do that early in the game. So Perez, no matter where he plays, he gives you a good effort and doesn't make many mistakes out there in the field.
Archimedes Caminero will now pitch for Seattle, and that's going to bring up a couple of pinch hitters for Milwaukee, as the all right-handed lineup will bring a couple of lefties off the bench. It's going to be Scooter Gennett first.
Yeah, Caminero, his numbers between the Seattle Mariners and the Pirates, they picked him up from the Pirates on August 6th for a player to be named later. Has appeared now in 9 of 12 games for the team that they've played since he's been picked up. So he's a guy that can work a lot. And it's been very good since May 24th. He's only got a 2.16 ERA in 28 games in that stretch.
So Scooter Gennett pinch hitting here in the 8th inning. He bats for Arcia, and as a pinch hitter this year, Scooter 0 for 4. 266 on the season, though. 10 home runs, 39 RBIs. We talked about Perez mining second base in this game, and all the different positions that he plays. He will definitely be moving with Gennett staying in the game.
Yeah, he'll go to third. Villa will go to short.
Yep.
Caminero, a hard thrower. He just threw a couple of pitches ago. He threw a fastball at 99 miles an hour. Slider to go with it.
Big swing by Scooter there to even it up at 2-2. Kirk Neuenhuis in the on-deck circle for Milwaukee. He would bat for Jake Elmore. And Scooter Gennett strikes out. First out here in the 8th inning. Take a look at our Miller Lite What's on Tap. The Brewers again going back home to play a 3-game series against Colorado. Monday it's Jimmy Nelson to get things started, then Chase Anderson on Tuesday, Zach Davies on Wednesday. All three of these pitchers will be looking for significant rebounds. Nelson continues to battle and get out of a slump. He's only won one of his last 11 decisions, which is hard to believe considering his start. He's right back out there. He's healthy and hopefully can make his way back. Neuenhuis on the season at 211. He pinch hits for Elmore.
Now this is about the only spot in the batting order that you're going to be doing any pinch hitting. You know, with the designated hitter, the Brewers only have 3 on the bench to start the game. Only Martin Maldonado is left.
There's Tyler Thornburg throwing in the Brewer bullpen. Brewers have had to mix and match their relievers over the last several days. Neuenhuis can't check his swing, so it's 2-2.
Yeah, 98 for Caminero.
Boy, it is amazing. You go back to that doubleheader on Tuesday. It started the road trip, and with Garza pitching in game 1, he pitched 5 innings, so 4 innings of relief needed, and then the nightcap, Anderson getting hurt just 2 outs into the first inning. They had to go to the bullpen. High pop up in the infield. SEAGER's got it. 2 down. Top of the order, and Jonathan Villar. Villar doubled and scored back in the 6th inning. Brewers have gotten a home run from KEON BROXTON in the 4th, 2 runs in the 6th inning. Ryan Braun had a 2-out, 2 RBI double. That was against the starter, Ariel Miranda, who ended up pitching 5 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs given up.
They had 4 hits in the game from Milwaukee. 3 of them came in that 6th inning. Another hit a home run by KEON BROXTON. That was in the 4th.
Here's the 1-2 to BR. Slaps another one foul. Brewers still have one more interleague series to go, and that is on the final road trip, final series. Actually, the final road trip, I should say, because the final series is against Colorado. This one right to center. And the out is made. That interleague series coming up against the Rangers later in September. It's always good when your home teams can use something that has to do with your city or state, and you see all the defensive changes. Let's take one more look at that. The Brewers have made here in this inning. They went with the 2 pinch hitters, and so Jeanette goes over to second, Perez to third, VR to short. Neuenhuis goes out to left. So there's your changes, and then Tyler Thornburg into pitch right now in relief here in the 8th inning for Seattle.
Tyler hasn't been used a whole lot on this road trip. The Brewers haven't been in a position to use him as a closer. Matter of fact, the Brewers haven't even had a lead on this road trip. It's been a very disappointing 7-game trip so far. 51st appearance for Thornburg and a 2.03 ERA.
And a good start for Thornburg there. Gets the strikeout on Adam Lynn. That'll bring up IANNETTA, the catcher.
And Thornburg pitched on Tuesday in game 2 of the doubleheader, the scoreless 8th inning. Last 19 appearances for Thornburg, he's allowed only 1 earned run. 7 walks, 24 punch-outs in that stretch.
That one fouled off the face mask of home plate umpire Jim Joyce. Manny Pena turned around right away to make sure he was okay. He said, yeah, do you know how many times that's happened to me?
Yeah, kid.
Now this time catch it. Well, Manny Pena doing a nice job behind the plate. Another spot where there's opportunity in the near future. Maldonado and Pena holding down the fort for now, but that's going to be a question mark during the offseason that David Stearns and the Brewers will have to figure out. A lot of spots going to be open.
Now the Brewers like what Pena's been able to do so far since he's gotten called up.
High fly ball center field. Broxton waits for it, and 2 down.
And they came up after Jonathan Lucroy was traded to Texas. He's swinging a pretty good bat, and the only concern the Brewers had was calling a game, learning the pitching staff, starters, relievers. But the one thing that has helped him is a lot of the guys he's catching he caught down in the minor leagues.
Well, they brought up Brent Suter to pitch Friday's game and matched Pena up with him right away because of their familiarity.
Yeah, Peralta. He's caught Peralta a couple of times.
There's Brent Suter. He's number 35 out in the middle of those guys out in the bullpen.
Enjoying his time in the major leagues.
Had his debut on Friday night, and now will pitch for now out of the bullpen, it would appear. About half of his games, AAA, were in relief. He had 15 starts, 26 total appearances, so he was kind of a jack of all trades at AAA, but really did a nice job establishing himself. And Tyler Thornburg, a quick 8th inning. 1, 2, 3. Now the Brewers, their final wraps coming up. Hotel and Casino. Spend the night with luxury. Top of the ninth we go. Brewers, their final wraps to try to come back here. They're within 6-3. And Tom Wilhelmsen is coming in to pitch the final 3 outs for the Mariners, trying for the save here.
They're not using the closer Diaz, who threw a lot of pitches on Friday night, over 30 pitches to nail down a save. So Wilhelmsen, who they picked up at the trading deadline from the Texas Rangers, on here for the 42nd time, and that big earned run average at 635. We saw Wilhelmsen on Friday pitch a scoreless inning. Well, the Brewers have the guys up at the plate in this inning that they want, 2, 3, 4 to start it out here in the ninth.
BROXTON, BRAUN, and Perez here in the ninth inning. See a big smile from KEON Broxton. Very confident young man right now. He's done a nice job. Hit a home run. Now Jim Joyce is taking his time there at home plate. But we're ready to go here in the ninth inning. 6-3 ball game. Broxton hit his 4th home run earlier in the game since he's been recalled from AAA on July 25th. High fly ball on the right side, and I think it's going to catch the stands, and it does. So 1-1 the count to KEON Broxton. Continues to be a good storyline for Milwaukee. A lot of outfielders in the organization right now. And there's a few on the doorstep of coming into the majors. Broxton trying to hold a spot in center field. Seems to be a natural spot for him with his speed. And while he improves at the plate, there's room for improvement coming up, I would imagine, in the outfield too. There are times where he has struggled with some routine plays. This one hit hard left field again, and way back, KEON Broxton, his 2nd home run of the game. What a way to lead off the ninth inning, and Milwaukee within 6-4.
Wow, that ball was crushed about halfway up on that scoreboard out in left center. My goodness, that pitch right down the middle, a mistake by Wilhelmsen, and KEON Broxton gives this one a ride. Watch this. Right down the middle, maybe a little bit in, and Broxton gets good wood on it, puts the bat down, and runs around the bases. As soon as he hit it, you knew it was gone. It was down by 2.
First multi-home run game for KEON Broxton in his young major league career.
Nice little dance doing out in the dugout down there. Little swing move.
It's been an all or nothing day for Broxton. 2 strikeouts, 2 home runs. See what Ryan Braun can do. Pops it up. And just out of play beyond the Mariner dugout. Boy, KEON Broxton. Good story to talk about with him. He's a good guy. I like the story you shared the other day during BP when he asked you for a baseball and he rolled it to a little boy about 2 years old watching BP.
Yeah, he asked me, do you need that baseball? I said, what in the world do I need this for? Right, I'm going up in the press box, but he took it and he rolled it to a kid. Had to be what, 2 years old?
Yeah, I think he was about 2.
And kid had a smile on his face and
made his day.
Broxton had just as big a smile on his face.
Yep.
Oh, you love that. And you love the fact that he's been able to make the adjustments that he's been able to make and having a lot of success now at this level.
Came over from the Pirates during the offseason for Jason Rogers. That trade surprised some people, but Ryan Braun strikes out for the first out. But Broxton's really developed into a player, and Rogers was penciled in, I think, during the offseason to be the Pirates' everyday first baseman, but that never worked out from spring training on.
They picked up John Jaso with the Pirates. He's been playing first, and Rogers been in the minor leagues all year.
Yep. Here's Perez, 0 for 3. One out here in the ninth. Broxton's second home run gets Milwaukee within a couple of runs. Slap foul to the right side. It is amazing. In this game, the Brewers trailed 6-1. You didn't get a good vibe of where this club was going offensively against Miranda, and they keep chipping away, stay in games like this. But the problem is, what you said earlier, they have not had the lead yet on the road trip. Perez, and this one falls in, and it's going to be a double. Martin got to it, but couldn't haul it in. So a one-out double for Perez, his first hit today.
Yeah, kind of a late break on it. I don't think he thought it was hit as hard as it actually was. A slider. And Hernan able to give it a pretty good ride. He kind of goes across and then realized better go back and goes off the glove. And now the Brewers have the tying run of the plate. They've been doing that a lot. They've done that the last couple of nights. They have come up empty, or at least they did it on Friday.
Chris Carter represents the tying run. Perez dancing around second.
You got a couple of guys coming up that can run into one here and tie her up.
Officially 0 for 2 with a walk. Hit a home run on Friday night to straightaway center. Outside again, 2-0.
You wonder what's up with Diaz, their closer. He really struggled on Friday night through a lot of pitches, over 30 pitches. You understand why he probably wasn't available yesterday.
That seems a little odd not today, but we don't have a reason behind that.
Right, well, you never know, but Wilhelmsen's struggling here. And they have a left-hander getting up in the bullpen.
Outside again to Carter. Not even close, 3-0. Nuno out in the bullpen. The left-hander Rock was talking about. There's a strike hitting the outside corner, 3-1. Santana waits on deck. And it's Manny Pena. (3-1) to Carter. Hits it again, 3-2.
Well, it wasn't his pitch, and just take it. Looking for one to drive out of the ballpark, and that pitch there is not one to drive out of the ballpark. On the corner at the knees.
Yep, everything away from Carter in this at-bat. Big pitch coming here from Wilhelmsen. Carter awaits the 3-2. Right center and deep, long way, and this one is caught. It appears to be caught. Or is it gone? Nobody knows. No umpire's given a signal yet.
Yeah, it's gone. Now they're going to call it gone. Does he have it?
How
about somebody saying something?
He doesn't know what's going on here. Carter doesn't know. And
he doesn't have the baseball. That's a homer.
It is a home run.
Oh, boy.
Carter with a home run to tie the game. Holy delay.
Yeah, no kidding. How about somebody doing something out there? Everybody looking at each other. Oh, Malley went up, and nobody's sure where the baseball was. And yep, it does fly out of the ballpark, and they were all tied up. How about that?
Wow.
A little bit of a delay. Well, right there in normal speed, when we first saw it, you thought maybe he had it, but He didn't show the baseball. Umpires didn't do anything. They were just looking out there. And now the Brewers have a 3 spot in the ninth. They've tied it up. On a 3-2 pitch to Carter. Look how easy that swing is, and watch this ball just jump off his bat out there in the gap in right center. The lead by O'Malley. Where is it? Nobody knows. And finally he comes up. The ball's not in his glove, and the Brewers tie it up.
Well, that may have been the strangest home run call that I've had in my short tenure, but we did not get an official word. And it was very close to being caught and just over the fence for a home run. 6-6 game. There's Santana, still only 1 out for the Brewers. They're trying to get a win here in their final opportunity on a 7-game road trip.
Wow, what a nice comeback. Down by 5 runs.
There's Chris Carter, 2nd home run of the series. There's the hit speed on that, nearly 98.
You talk about, he just flicked the wrist out there. I mean, it wasn't a big swing at all, just making good contact, and ball just jumping off his bat and knocks it out of here to the opposite field.
A stunned crowd here in Seattle, and another hard hit ball going to fall for a base hit for Santana. And the Bluebirds are coming out on Wilhelmsen, who's given up 2 home runs, a double and a single so far, and has recorded only 1 out for Scott Service.
I guess the question you have to ask yourself, where is Diaz? Apparently he's thrown a lot. The other question is, why did they bring Cishek in the 6th inning? The closer before he got hurt. Yeah, now Scott Service in a bit of a bind. He's going to bring in his left-hander. Or at least you'd think he might, because Wilhelmsen's been getting hit hard in this inning.
Well, Diaz, if you go back to the last 4 games, he's thrown 61 pitches. Maybe they're just shutting him down for 2 days.
Yeah, young guy. Yep.
So a pitching change. The Brewers have rallied after trailing by 3, 6-6. Stay with us. Got things started here in the top of the 9th inning by hitting a solo home run, and the Brewers have followed after that with a 2-run pop from Chris Carter and a single from Domingo Santana to chase Wilhelmsen. And now it's going to be Nuno coming in to pitch, the left-hander in relief to try to shut down Milwaukee, who's tied this game.
Yeah, the only left-hander that the Mariners have down in the pen. You got Pena, the right-hander, followed by Jeanette Nieuwenhuis, a couple of left-handers, and so Scott Service breaking out his left-hander here in the 9th.
Pena 0 for 3 in this game, takes 1 low. Heading into this inning when Milwaukee trailed by 3 runs on the season, They are 0-59 when trailing after 8 innings. That's how rare a feat we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and that right here. How about a big fly? Maybe a gapper. I just wonder if the Brewers take the lead here. Do you send Thornburg back out?
It's a good question. I was thinking about that because there's going to be a ninth.
Yeah, you got some activity down in that bullpen for Milwaukee.
Pena to left and a base hit. So the relief corps struggling here in the 9th inning for the Mariners.
5 hits in the 9th inning. Yeah, amazing the way the Brewers offense has come to life on this Mariners bullpen that's been very good as of late. Yeah, Pena getting a pitch out away from and hits it hard in the left. Now base hit should give the Brewers a lead.
Now the matchups that Scott Service was hoping to get here at least. They'll have lefty versus lefty in consecutive at-bats. Jeanette with Neuenhuis waiting on deck.
Yeah, Brewers had 4 hits entering the 9th inning. They have 5 in this inning.
Jeanette .259 this season against left-handed pitching. A vast improvement. This one down the right field line and just foul. Oh, Scooter Jeanette gave it a ride. Oh, so close.
Yeah, that might have cleared the bases right there. Scooter's at-bats against lefties have been much better this year. That'd be a good time to just maybe hit a flare out in the left field somewhere. Santana runs well.
Santana at second, Pena over at first. 1 out here in the Brewer 9th. They've tied it up by scoring 3 runs. Here's the 1-1 to Jeanette. Spoils one. It's 1-2. There's the splits on Scooter Jeanette. Pretty even. That's why he's gotten a lot more playing time this season. He's earned the opportunity. This one into the gap, left field. Aoki can't come up with it. Santana being waved home. And he will score. Milwaukee is out in front, 7-6. What a comeback here in Seattle.
Oh, that's some bad outfield play right there. Aoki's got to make that catch. I'm not sure what was going on in left, but take nothing away from Scooter Jeanette hanging in there against a lefty with 2 strikes. Able to dump a single out there, out into the gap in left center. And it looked like Martine and Aoki both looking at each other. And it drops. Boy, what a mistake by the Mariners that the Brewers able to capitalize and take the lead.
This is Milwaukee's first lead in a ball game since last Sunday when they beat Cincinnati at Miller Park. And they trailed by 3 runs entering this inning.
And there's still only 1 out. Brewers with 6 hits in the 9th inning. My goodness. You think you've seen everything. And amazingly, that fly ball out in the left field dropped.
Clearly some confusion out there, but Scooter put it in play. He did what he's supposed to do, and nobody could come up with it.
Exactly. That's why, you know, making contact in these situations is so important. You never know what can happen.
Neuenhuis to right, deep. And this one just foul. My goodness, the Brewers are driving the ball here in the 9th.
It's contagious, isn't it? Everybody getting good swings. Just a little bit out in front of it. Hooks foul as it gets out there. That's a nice swing by Neuenhuis. I think he realized it was not going to be fair. But got good wood on it.
Straighten it out a little bit here.
I'm thinking that Thornburg's going to come back out for the 9th. Unless Neuenhuis can knock one out of here.
1-2. Outside 2-2. Nieuwenhuis came in as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. Stayed in to play left field. Nuno misses. Nieuwenhuis able to check his swing. So a full count now, 3-2. He's got 2 aboard, still only 1 out in this game in the 9th inning. And he misses low, a walk. And how about this? The Brewers have loaded the bases. They've already taken the lead. There's still only 1 out. 6 consecutive batters have reached for Milwaukee. Who expected this?
Nobody. And maybe the Brewers offense might have expected it, but boy, they have come out and broke out of it in a big way.
Jonathan Villar, the 9th batter here in the 9th inning for the Brewers. First pitch is low, ball 1. Villar 1 for 4, doubled in the 6th inning, has scored a run here today. Ground ball foul. Well, the Mariners had played so well in just about every facet of the game over the course of the last several weeks to get back in the playoff chase. This is a game here they're going to have to watch. It might be one of those spoilers and end their momentum. They had a 6-3 lead here in the 9th, and now they trail 7-6.
Well, they had a 6-1 lead mid-game. He was able to kind of scratch and claw their way back, and a big 9th.
Here's the 1-2. Missing outside. 2-2. More activity out there as Drew Storen starting to warm up for the Mariners. They've already had 2 pitchers here in the 9th. Just outside, it runs full again.
Not by much.
Nowhere to put him. Bases are loaded. Popped it up. Might be a play out there. Smith coming in, makes the catch. The tag by Pena. He stops. Oh, now the Brewers are in trouble.
My goodness. Scooter.
A base running mistake is Scooter Gennett. Whoop.
They let him go back.
Wow, they let him go back. Scooter Gennett already had made it to 3rd base and was expecting a rundown, and Seattle never made a throw.
I don't understand what that was. Oh boy, they had an out. They decided that they weren't going to make the throw to 2nd base to prevent Pena from scoring, but this is the major leagues. You should be able to make plays like that in a rundown. Check this out. Look where Scooter Gennett is. You got IANNETTA. He's got the baseball, and he's saying, all right, go back. I don't care. What is he doing?
Wow, that is a stunner.
How about this defense by the Mariners? Aoki doesn't make a catch in left, and what do you call that?
That is amazing. Brewers still have a chance here to plate some more runs. KEON BROXTON bats for the 2nd time here in the 9th inning. He led everything off with a home run. Down a strike. Here's a look at that bizarre no play by IANNETTA.
And first of all, Scooter Gennett running with his head down. He's thinking Pena is going to score, but the Mariners just say go back to 2nd base. I'm not making a throw. You're not talking about, you know, VR, Billy Hamilton at third base. You're talking about the Brewers catcher.
This one popped up, and it will make the seats. Well, think about this inning. Carter hit the home run, and we had such a delayed call. Nobody said whether it was a catch or a home run. Aoki doesn't make his play in left, and then here they choose not to even attempt to throw to get a sure out.
Yeah, now you got BROXTON up with the bases loaded. They'll go figure. Who knows?
Ball and 2 strikes to the Brewers center fielder.
You know what you do in that case? You just throw the ball to second base. You run Jeanette back to third. There's going to be 2 guys there. That's how you end the inning.
Seemed pretty simple.
I mean, pretty easy.
Yeah.
This guy's not thinking.
BROXTON works it to even. And he strikes out. Frustrated. However, he got things started with the home run to lead things off here in the 9th. The Brewers trailed by 3 at one point. BROXTON home run, and then a Chris Carter home run, and then some missed plays allowed Milwaukee to get back in this and take the lead. Going for a win next. For the 9th and take a 7-6 lead, going for the win. And Chris Carter had a lot to do with that. One of 2 home runs in the 9th inning by Milwaukee. Keon Broxton was the first, and now Tyler Thornburg, who pitched the 8th inning and kept Milwaukee in this one and give him a chance, will try to close things out and get a win here. Not just to say, but it's going to be a win for him.
Well, you got to figure, you know, Tyler Thornburg had a 3-up, 3-down 8th. I mean, the Brewers were down by 3. He's thinking, you know, my day's over. Sitting in the dugout, all of a sudden the Brewers start their comeback, and Craig Counsell probably goes to him and says, can you give me another inning? So a little bit of an unusual situation for Thornburg. Hopefully he can ramp it back up and get through this inning.
Well, he'll face the number 9 hitter first in KETEL Marte. And then Nori Aoki and Seth Smith scheduled. First pitch way outside to Marte. The Brewers trying to pick up their first win when trailing going into the 9th inning in their 60th game in that opportunity. 0 for 59 when trailing going into the 9th inning this season. 2-1 to count to Marte. The good thing for Thornburg is he had a nice quick bottom of the 8th inning. Didn't need too many pitches. Just 11. And that just missing. 3-1. miss.
Yeah, good pitch right on the corner. Yep, down and away, perfectly located.
Here's Thornburg on the 3-2 to Marte. This one fouled away. Do it again. Another payoff pitch from Thornburg to Marte. This one to left. And it's going to get into the seats. Marte a single and an RBI, a run scored in this game. No activity in the Brewer bullpen, so this appears to be Thornburg's inning. If he can.
Well, Knebel had been throwing. He's probably pretty ready to go.
This one slapped away again.
So it's not going to take him long in the event that Thornburg gets into some big trouble.
Some odd moments in that Brewer half of inning number 9. They played 4 runs, and this one shot in the left, and it falls for a base hit.
Bottom of the order again, getting it done. That's the way most of the rallies for the Mariners have began, with the bottom of the order. Well, Thornburg didn't want to walk him, make him hit his way on, and Marte with a good piece of hitting on a pitch that was off the plate, and dumps it in front of Neuenhuisen left.
Here's Nori Aoki. He has been a thorn in the Brewers' side in this game. He has reached base safely all 4 times. He's got 2 hits, a walk, reached on an error, and scored 2 runs. He is Seattle's leadoff batter. Marte aboard with the base hit. He's the number 9 hitter. 1-1 to Aoki. The last time the Brewers came from 3 runs down in the 9th inning to win was July 2nd, 2011 at Minnesota.
Wow, that was a while ago.
There it is, July 2nd, 2011 at Minnesota, when they trailed 7-4. They were down 6-3 in this game. Only 6 other times in franchise history have the Brewers had a greater deficit to come back and win. Only 6 other times. 4 times they were trailing by 4, once by 5, and once by 7.
No, we'll go for naught if Thornburg's not able to, get this inning completed.
Here's the 2-1. Outside, 3-1.
And just wonder how the way that inning developed, and Thornburg realizing as the inning went on that he might have to go back out there after thinking his day was done. It's not as easy as just flipping a switch.
There's a lot of mental side to this game, right?
Seems to be struggling a bit.
Oki pops it up. Jeanette in foul territory, and a big out right there for Tyler Thornburg.
Oh, there's a gift on a 3-1 pitch. Thank you very much.
That's the first time Aoki has been retired today.
Yeah, fastball in, middle in, and Aoki jams himself and pops it up. Well, now a double play ball will get the Brewers out of the inning and a win on his road trip.
Derek Johnson, the Brewers pitching coach, taking a slow walk out to talk with Tyler Thornburg.
O'Malley was put into the ball game replacing Seth Smith for defense. So it's O'Malley and not Seth Smith who's been swinging the bat well today. Corey Knebel waiting, he's ready to go. And the Brewers are hoping he stays out in that bullpen.
O'Malley started Friday night's opener in this series and had 2 hits and a run. Came in as a defensive replacement in yesterday's game, late. And when he came in the top of the ninth, he probably didn't think he was going to have to bat when his team was up by 3 runs. 253 on the season. First pitch popped up in the infield. Perez coming in. Just in front of home plate for the second out.
A little bit of a snow cone right there. Almost popped right out of the glove. So 2 pitches, 2 outs for Thornburg. And check this out. Look out here. Oh, got it. Now the fun begins with CANO, Cruz, and SEAGER coming up. Probably the last guy you want to see in a situation like this. The Brewers have handled him pretty well today.
CANO officially 0 for 4 today, including 2 strikeouts, but he has 2 infield groundouts that had produced RBIs in each of those at bats. So he's had twice something to do with getting Seattle runs home. CANO with 1 career walk-off home run. That happened back in 2009 against the White Sox. Down a strike to Tyler Thornburg. And this one gets past Pena. And Marte moves into scoring position at second base.
Yeah, that's a big base right there. Now a base hit should tie it up. Now Pena getting down, a curveball in the dirt. You got to block it. Didn't square himself up. It shoots off to the side. And then got good speed at second base.
CANO steps out. Thornburg in his second inning of relief. 28 pitches. An out away from a Brewer come from behind win. And now a strike away.
Almost picked that one right out of Pena's glove, a little bit late.
For over a decade, CANO's been one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball. Here's the 1-2. Hopped him up. Left field, Neuenhuis. Broxton coming in. Broxton's got it, and the Brewers win. In come-from-behind fashion in the 9th inning, Tyler Thornburg, 2 innings of relief, gets the win, and it's Milwaukee 7, Seattle 6.
You just never know what you're going to see at the ballpark, do you? I mean, the Brewers pretty much DOA in the 9th inning, but coming up big. They scored 4 runs in the 9th. Had more hits in the 9th inning than they had the rest of the game. So they woke up just in time before they head back to Milwaukee.
Their biggest comeback since 2011 in the 9th inning. They trailed 6-3, score 4. And what a birthday present for Craig Counsell. It's number 46 for him today, and he gets to go home with a 7-6 win. Lots to talk about. Let's get the postgame show started with Jeff Grayson.